everybody, welcome to today's show. Appreciate you being a part of it and being on here today. We're going to be talking about the top 10 questions you need to be asking yourself about how do you get from where you are to where you really need to be. And we're going to be looking at the analogy of using a school bus and talking about what are the questions, the top 10 questions we ought to be asking yourself. Welcome to our show today. Hey, be sure to click on notifications if you hadn't done that already, or type your name in. Let me know where you're from. Let me know you're watching on the show. And if you're catching on the replay, you can do the same as well, right? You can do the same as well. You can also give us a thumbs up or a heart or a wow or a frowny face if that's what you need to do. But glad to have you on the show today. Appreciate you being a part of today's Lunch and Learn, right? Today's Lunch and Learn. So we're going to be hopping right in here to talk about this whole concept of what do you need to be doing to move forward, right? What do you need to be doing to move forward or up, but not down, right? Okay, so hey, thanks for being here. Just kind of thinking through the process as I was talking with a client this weekend about what they're trying to do to move forward. And so I designed these 10 questions to help all of us think through what we're doing. So it doesn't matter whether it's our personal life, right, or whether it's our business or an organization or our church or something that we're project that we're trying to accomplish. We're going to be talking about, well, what do you do? What do you do to make that happen? So the first big question is, what's our bus? You know, what is the bus that we're going to get on here to take this journey? In other words, what is it that we're going to be doing to move forward, right? So what's the bus? Oftentimes people don't realize, in other words, what's the vehicle that's going to help us move from where we are to where we need to be, right? From where we are to where we need to be. That's what we have to figure out, right? What is the bus? What's the vehicle? Because oftentimes what people think is the vehicle, really not the vehicle. Because it's kind of like somebody that's selling cars. They think, you see, a smart car salesman will realize, I'm not selling cars. To some people, I'm selling an image. To some people, I'm selling transportation. To some people, I am selling them a way to make more money. See, there's a difference. So you have to know, what's the vehicle? What's the bus? If you're going to move from where you are to where you want to be, you have to think about how that's going to happen. What is the vehicle to make that happen, right? So as you're thinking about where you are and where you want to go, if you know what that is, then you got to be thinking about what's the vehicle. Sometimes money is the vehicle. Sometimes time is the vehicle. Sometimes a job might be a vehicle, a step to get you to where you want to go. Sometimes having your own business. Sometimes having a process that you're going to take people through, like we're going to go do X to change the world, right? And when you understand that, what's the vehicle to make that happen? What's the vehicle to make that happen? Number two, where do we want our bus to arrive, right? Where do we want our bus to arrive? So if you're joining us on the show, you just joined us on the show, be sure to type your name in down there so I know you're here, where you're from. If you're catching on the replay, you can do the same thing. Or if you have a question or you want to make a comment, just feel like doing that. Just do that. Of course, you can always give us a thumbs up, or if you think what we're talking about today would be of interest to the people that are your friends or your customers, your clients, just click that share button right down there, and you can follow along with, they can follow along with us as well and catch the show every time we go live. So, where do we want our bus to arrive? That is, what are we looking for to happen, right? What is it that when the bus gets there, we know we're there? See, oftentimes when people want to go from where they are to where they think they want to be, they don't quite know what that's like. They don't know what that looks like. They don't know where that is. So if we were going to get on a bus today and we wanted to go to Cleveland, Ohio, right? We need to know that's where that bus is going, not to Los Angeles. We need to know the bus is going to Cleveland, Ohio. Oftentimes people don't know where their bus is going. So we need to know what the bus is. You know, we need to know where the bus is going. Where the bus is going, and that is, where do we want the bus to arrive at? So if you're working in your business and you're looking at the concept of growing your business, by $100,000 in sales or profit this year, you need to know where that's at. In other words, how many more clients do you have to have, or how many more customers do you have to have, or how many more sales do you have to make, or how many more repeat sales do you have to make, and is there a way to add value and up the price so you don't have to make as many sales or have as many customers? Where do you want the bus to arrive? Where do you want the bus to arrive, right? Or if you're in ministry and you're trying to accomplish something in ministry, how many more people can we serve? And is there a way to partner with somebody else that's already doing that so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel? Where do we want the bus to arrive? So what's our bus? And then where do we want the bus to arrive? Right? The third question is, who's driving the bus? Who or what is driving the bus? Sometimes it's not a who, sometimes it's a what. What's driving the bus? Sometimes time is driving the bus. That is, we only have a certain amount of time to get something done, so therefore that's the driver. Sometimes it's a person, and hopefully that's you driving the bus. Sometimes it's somebody else driving the bus. So you have to think about who or what is driving the bus. Who or what's driving the bus. And you have to understand that component. Get the wrong driver on the bus, and they're not paying attention to the details, right? Get the wrong driver on the bus, and maybe they don't follow instructions well. Get the wrong driver on the bus, maybe they make too many stops because they're not quite sure, they're not quite confident, right? So you have to understand, if you're going to drive the bus, who are you? What do you bring to the table in strengths? What do you bring to the table in the area of liabilities? What's your distractions? What's your motivation? So you have to understand who or what's driving the bus. Sometimes money's driving the bus. You can have this great idea and a great destination and understand the bus, but what the bus is, the vehicle, but sometimes something else is driving the bus. You have to understand what's driving the bus, right? All right. Fourth question that we need to ask ourselves, if we're going to get from where we are to where we want to go, right? From where we are to where we want to go, we have to ask ourselves the question, who needs to be or what needs to be on the bus? Hey, Lillian, glad to have you on the show. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for being here today. Who or what needs to be on the bus? Who or what needs to be on the bus? Sometimes we have to understand we have to have team players on the bus with us to get the job done, right? Everybody needs a team. And so we need to understand, well, what does that look like? What does that look like to be on our bus? Or what else needs to be on the bus? Sometimes we need certain resources on our bus. Like some businesses, you take a business that involves people going everywhere and serving people in a lot of different places. They might need a fleet of trucks to do that, right? So that's what needs to be on the bus. Sometimes it's products that need to be. If you're selling widgets, then you're going to need widgets on the bus. Because if you have no widgets, you have no sales, you have no business. Very long, right? So you need to understand who or what needs to be on the bus with you. Who or what needs to be on the bus. If it's people that you need on the bus, like if you need salespeople, or you need ministry volunteers, or you need paid staff, or you need volunteer staff, you need to understand who that is and what that looks like that you need to have on the bus with you, right? So that was number 4. Number 5, 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, number 6. How will you get them on the bus? Whether it's a who or a what, how are you going to get them on the bus? Are you going to have to recruit them? Or are you going to have to find a source? Or are you going to have to find a way to get the best price? Who or what how are you going to get them on the bus? How are you going to get the who and what on the bus? Are you going to ask them to volunteer? Are you going to pay them? Are you going to pay them an incentive? Are you going to give them options to be, salary plus options? How are you going to get these people on the bus with you? So you have to think about that. If we want to get the right people on the bus, right? We want the right people on the bus, but then how do you get them on the bus? You have to have a process. You have to have an evaluation tool. You have to have a hiring tool maybe, or a volunteer tool, or you have to have a sequence whereby if you're bringing a product on board, right? How do you get that on the bus? The last thing you want is a garage full of widgets that are the wrong widgets, right? How do you evaluate what's the best product to have on the bus, right? So you have to have this process whereby you can evaluate what comes on the bus. Because you see, everything you put on the bus that is not necessary is a drain on the bus. It takes more time, energy, and resources from the bus. Is it a distraction on the bus if you don't have the right people on the bus, or you don't have the right stuff on the bus, or the right things on the bus, the right what on the bus? All right, so that's question number 6. Number 7, what seat on the bus do they need to be in? All right, what seat on the bus do they need to be in? So whether it's a what or whether it's a who or a what, you need to understand what seat on the bus do they need to be in. Who or what do they need to be in? So think about that. If you have the wrong people in the wrong places, right, on the bus, you're not going to get as good a return on your bus trip. It's like if you have, if you have a person who is very much about details working up at the counter, which may be a great thing for certain processes, but you really need a people person at the counter, then you're going to get less production out of the detail person than you are having the people person up there, right? But you have to understand that. Who needs to be in what seat on the bus? Where does your widget fall in the bus? You notice this every time you go into stores, that people move the product around. They're not doing that to aggravate you. They're not doing that even to trick you. What they're doing is trying to find out where the product sells best, okay, in the store. And that is a way, hey, Joyce, glad to have you on here. That is a way for you to understand, who or what is in what seat on the bus. You have to understand that. And you have to have a process to figure that out. You have to be willing to test. You have to have some kind of tool. Is this the right seat for this person on the bus? Do they fit in here on the bus? Does this product fit here on the bus? Right? Does that fit? Is that where it needs to be? Or no, it needs to be over there. It needs to be closer to the door. No, it needs to be at the back of the bus. No, it needs to be right behind the driver. Where does it need to be on the bus? Right? So you have to be willing to make adjustments. So the who's you bring on the bus have to be flexible and adaptable until you figure out what seat they are on the bus. Oh man, what? There's something that needs to go in the evaluation tool about who gets on the bus. If they're not flexible and adaptable, maybe they're not going to help you on the bus. They may be great at what they do, but if they can't be adaptable or flexible, maybe you need to rethink that. If your product has a short shelf life, hey, Dave Hobley, glad to have you on there. Hey, Andy, glad to have you on here. We're talking about the 10 questions you need to be asking yourself if you want to go from here to there, on the bus, right? And we're talking about question number 10 or number 7 about who's on the bus or what's on the bus and is it in the right seat. Get on the bus, Gus. Joyce, yeah, let's get on the bus. So when we get on the bus, we need to make sure we have the people in the right seat or the product in the right seat. And you see this happen in stores all the time, right? What about if we have people on the bus that we need to get off the bus? Because sometimes we get people on the bus or we inherit a bus with people in it, right? In our job, we might have a team that's assigned to us. Or we may just not get the right people on the bus to start with. How do we get them off the bus? Or if we have products that we discover this product's not selling, this product's not working, it's not doing what it said it's going to do. How do I get it off the bus? Hopefully you can get it off the bus profitably, right? If it's a product. Hopefully you can get the person off the bus and maybe put them on another bus that's better for them than the bus they're on now. So you have to be thinking yourself, how do I get people off the bus that are on the bus? Yes, they need an exit strategy. You need an exit strategy for the people that you let get on the bus, right? Because at some point you're going to get to where you go and you're going to need to get off the bus. Even if everything works smooth, you need an exit strategy. So how do I get people on the bus off the bus that don't need to be on the bus, because you're going to find that to be true. We're just that's what happens in business. That's what happens in ministry. That's what happens with products. You have to be able to get things off the bus. You need to have an exit strategy for that, right? All right. Question number 9. Do you have the resources to get the bus to where it needs to go? Do you have the resources to get the bus where it needs to go? You know, there's a difference between riding a bicycle and driving a bus. It takes a lot more energy, time, and resources to get the bus from point A to point Z than the bicycle. Okay? And so you have to be thinking about, do I have the resources to get the bus from point A to point Z? And if I'm going to have to refuel the bus, do I have the resources to refuel the bus? So if we lose someone, or we have to take someone off the bus, or someone decides to get off the bus, what are we going to do? How do we fill in the spot? Do we have a plan for that? If we run out of gas in the bus, do we know where the refueling stations are, right? And do we have what it takes to fill the bus back up, right? If it's a product thing that we're doing, do we have adequate stock for the product that we're going to sell? What if we run out? What if there's a delay? What if the shipment from overseas gets caught in a tsunami and the boat sinks? What happens? Well, if you don't have a plan, you go broke, because all your widgets that makes your profit, you now have none, and now the bus is empty. So do I have the resources to get the bus from where I'm at, where I'm going to go, from where I'm at, where I'm going to go, right? How do I do that? How do I do that? So if I have a ministry and we're trying to go to Haiti to build a hospital, do I have the resources to get my team from here to there? And when I get there, do I have the resources to do the work? See, do I have the resources to get the bus where I want it to go? You have to have a plan for that. You have to have a plan A for that, and you have to have a contingency plan, is because things are going to go wrong. Things are going to happen that disrupt the process. People are going to quit. People are going to bail. Products aren't going to come in. There's going to be issues. So you have to have resources and a plan for those resources as you come along, right? All right, so then the really big question at the end of all this, question number 10, is, do I have the bus headed in the right direction? Is the bus going the right direction? You know, how many times have we seen this happen, that you've been going somewhere and you get distracted and you wind up making a wrong turn? See, oftentimes that happens, whether it's in life. I want to go from here in my life to over there in my life. I have this dream and I'm here and I want to go there. Or my business is here and I want to go there. Or my ministry is here and I want to go there. And we get distracted, we get a detour, and suddenly we don't know where the bus is going. Okay, so really big question is do I have the bus headed the right direction? So that's that long look. Now the long look today may be only, a month down the road. It may be 5 months down the road. It probably won't be longer than a year down the road, because things are going to change. Now you can have a long range plan, right? I mean, you can have a long range plan, nothing wrong with that, but it better be highly adaptable and flexible, because things are going to change. And you're going to have to change how the bus is headed that direction. But we have to know where the bus is headed. So those are our top 10 questions today that we've talked about. It is, how am I going to get from here to there, in wherever I'm at, whether it's in my life or in my business or in my relationships or in my church or in a nonprofit organization. How am I going to get from here to there? What are the top 10 questions you need to be asking yourself about how to get there? And we use the analogy of the bus. Of course, a lot of it, if you've ever read Good to Great, part of that analogy came from Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, and some good stuff in there. And I used part of that, but I also added my own questions. And you may have something you'd like to add to what I've talked about as a question, because I'm sure there's a number 11 question and there's a number 12, right? Because I know that good leadership and people who are leaders always see before and always see more. And you probably saw something there. Here's another question that should be asked. Maybe you saw it before I got to number 10 and said, oh, there's a number 11. Or maybe you saw something beyond that that said, hey, what about this? If you got one of those questions, go ahead and put it in the chat below. And I'm going to get a drink of water and wait for you to see what you've got to say about it, right? What would you add to the questions about getting on the bus and going from here to there, here to there? What would you say? Anybody got a thought they want to share? Anybody? Okay. I'm waiting on people's comment here. See, my wife is on the show today. She's watching, checking me out. Dave Hobley, he's on the show. Lillian's on the show. Annie was there. Melanie was there. She got back home. Awesome. I've seen my wife's giving me thumbs up. You can give me a thumbs up too, folks, if you like what we shared today. All right, so you got the 10 questions. If you'd like to get a copy of the 10 questions, right? If you'd like to get a copy of the 10 questions, I'll put it in the comment section. If you'd like to get a copy of the 10 questions, you can do that. I'll send it to you in a PDF, right? I'll send it to you in a PDF. You can text DER, that's the letters DER, to 71441. That's right. Text DER to 71441, and I'll send you a copy of today's 10 questions about how to get the bus to where you want it to go. How to go from where you are, right? From where you are to where you want to go. From where you are to where you want to go. Right? All right, so hey, thanks for being on the show. Appreciate the comments that were shared. Folks that watched, came by, let me know they were here. If you liked the show, you thought it was helpful or be helpful for someone you know, you can also click the share button. You can do that right now. And I'll give you a call out on the show and let everybody know, hey, here's somebody that shared the show. And it made a big difference for them or something they share. Hey, Andy Falco, appreciate you. Thumbs up, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. And thank you for helping me get to where I'm at. You would like a copy. Lillian would like a copy. Okay, all right. Hey, Ian Konzak, what's going on, man? Glad to have you on the show. We've been talking about how to get your bus from where you are to where you want to go, right? And questions that need to be asked about that. So appreciate you stopping by our show today. Again, if you thought this was helpful to somebody you know or somebody that is in your circle of influence, click the share button right down there, and you can let them know about my show. And they can catch me anytime. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about, I had to write this down so I could get it straight, right? On tomorrow's Lunch and Learn, I'm going to be talking about the 6 key questions you must answer to make your dreams progress forward, right? 6 questions you must be answering to get your dreams moving forward. Right? 6 questions, right? So join us tomorrow on the Lunch and Learn, right here about the 12 to 1 o'clock hour. And we're going to be talking about the 6 questions you must get answers to. And I'll share some answers with you about how to get from where you are to where you want to go in your dreams, making progress. How do you know I'm making progress? And what I think this thing is I'm supposed to be doing with this thing called life, right? This thing called life, right? So, hey, thanks for being on the show today. Love for you to share this with your audience. Encourage them to be a part of our show on Lunch and Learn. That I think, folks, we give over-deliver on what we're doing and what we're talking about. So appreciate the opportunity to share with you today with that. And you can reach out to me if you need to and PM me. I'll reach back out to you. And if you're catching me on the replay today, Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. Keep up the good work, Andy says. I will. If you're looking to how to kind of do this kind of thing, in other words, even if you're trying to just get started online, trying to share your message with the world, because I know this about you. I know this about everybody. Most human beings, unless something's wrong with them, there's got a story right here in their heart. Right? They got a story in their heart that they need to share with the world. They got a skill that they know how to do that they need to share with the world. They got a passion, a cause that they believe in that they need to share with the world. See, people have those in them. And I work on helping people make that happen for themselves, whether it's on Facebook Live or with a book or with their business or with their ministry or with their life or with their relationships. I help that happen for people because I have a system that works. I have a system that works, and you can get it. You can be a part of that to make that work for you, right? So just reach out to me. So if you're catching me on the replay, be sure to type in your comment if you have one as well. If you want to add a question to the 10 questions that I shared today, you can do that. If you'd like a copy of the questions, just be sure to put it in the notes here or PM me or text DER. That's the letter DER, David Edward Robert, to 71441, and I'll make sure that you get a copy of today's 10 questions that basically help you understand how do you get from where you are to where you want to go, from where you are to where you want to go, right? Because you need to know those questions because they're important. Most people miss some questions in that, and they never get where they want to go. They just stay stuck, okay? They just stay stuck. So tomorrow's show, hey, thanks for being here. Tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking about dreams and what are the questions you need answers to know that you're progressing toward what you want to get done in your life. We'll be talking about that tomorrow on the Dean Renfro Show. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Again, click that share button. I'd appreciate it. Give us thumbs up, smiley hearts or smiley faces, or, hey, if you have to, a frown. But thanks for being on my show today. Appreciate every one of you and all that you do in being on my show and making my show something worth watching. The questions that you ask, the statements that you make help the show just keep moving forward. So thanks for being on here today. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you later. Have a great rest of today. Unless you got a comment that you want to make, I'll move on to the next layer of a show, right? We'll move on to the next layer of a show. All right, we'll catch you later. Have a great rest of a Monday.